Modern Warfare.
Yeah, so let's kick things
Let's
off,
get
right?
into it.
So, I got a couple funny videos I wanted to start off with here, just to like ease the mood a little bit, and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the game, right? We're gonna talk about our first impressions, but this, if you haven't seen it yet, this is hilarious, dude. Yeah. I was crying when I was watching these, dude. I'm just gonna fire them up back and forth when I'm still sprinting after my dead.
This is exactly how you feel. You were
Yeah,
just
no,
hurt
it
when Dead
is.
Silence runs out.
When a new game comes out, there's just always memes, dude. This one was hilarious because I don't know where this guy got. I've seen like every Drake video. I don't know where he got this Drake video from. I hope no one heard that. I've never even seen that video. All right, let's go to the next one. This is hilarious.
This
This
one's
was
just
today,
ridiculous.
right? This is
Yeah,
today.
this
Or
was
yesterday?
today.
Yeah, dude.
Or last night, maybe.
Yeah, I gotta refresh it, dude. This is insane. I actually learned a spot from here, by the way.
I thought this video was so insane that I thought it was a fake.
We might have to
I thought
watch
it
this
was
twice, huh, for people to understand. So apparently these guys, just for some context, and the quality's not that great here, but you can get the gist of it. They're in like a search and destroy match, like a wager or something, and he's spectating his teammate, and he's like calling out, "Look, check this out."
You see him in the glass? Through the window, up, up, up. No, left, left. Exactly where you're looking to your up. Exactly where you're looking right. At the door. At the door. Look. Yeah, up, up, up. At the window. Up. Look up. In the broken window. In the broken left. 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 It's a window you're not supposed to see through. It's a window you're not supposed to see through. Look at the door. Look at the door. Look up. Go straight up. Right there. Right
Yo.
there. Yes, that's him. That is him. Oh my god, bro.
I'm
Jesus
not going to get the
Christ.
kill anyways.
Dude, but like, how do you call out anything right there, anyways? You know, what I mean, this is so many doors. That is a weird angle to look at. I didn't know that was there, to be honest, bro. I'm gonna use that.
Without a sniper, I really don't even know how he gets a kill there. That guy was standing still. You never catch anyone standing still that long.
What you mean? I saw you camping up there the other day. Alright.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody that.
All right. So let's talk about our first impressions of the game. I'll let you go first, but in terms of like maps, you know, pubs and stuff like that, from just a fun aspect, have you been
Let's
having fun?
let's talk about the positives first, right? I
Sure.
think that this game has ridiculously good gunplay. Like the guns are just fun to use. They're smooth. The game looks beautiful. I mean, there's a lot to say positive, like right. But then there's the negative part where, although the gunplay is fun, how many gunfights do you really get into? I mean, you could run around the map and you just saw that video. You'll be like, there'll just be guys up in every single window in every corner. You have to run across the
Yeah.
map, and then when you finally get there, you die by a claymore. There's a guy with a riot shield. There's just so much that they didn't need to add that it takes away from the positives that they did. I'm not really sure how I feel about their tactical decision with the doors. Like I get
Yeah,
what
let's
they were
talk about
going
that a
with.
little bit. Let's talk about the doors for a little
I
bit.
get what they were
So,
going with, but at the same time, it's like you creak the door open, you push it open, but you don't even need to like. Their best play is just to sprint through the door. You catch people off guard. If you creak the door open, they know you're there. They're just so ready for you to come.
I
Not as
really
tactical as I
dislike,
think they wanted.
and we're gonna talk about dead signs and stuff like that later. But I'm just talking about just like some of the new mechanics they put in, like the door system that you just brought up. When you're in a hard point and you close all the doors, like that's just not esports ready, right? Like that can't like there's got to be a way to fix that because closing all those doors and also with the way sound works, even when you peek a door, you can hear it open, and when somebody comes through a door, even if like we're like pretty far away on the map, if you charge to a door, I'm gonna hear that. I'm gonna be okay, he's over there, and it might be your only route, your only option is to go through said doors. So like I'm not a big fan of the door system. Obviously, we have to give it a little bit more time. But the way, you know, even some of the hills are, especially like Hackney Yard or Gunrunner, where some of those maps have those double doors, like it makes it pretty impossible to even get a pinch without people hearing you in their headset, and you really can't even get that information either. So like that's one thing I dislike. But in terms of fun, man, like I do think the gunplay is really fun. I know everybody on Twitter, that's pretty much what everybody's saying is the gunplay is so fun. But I like the weapons. I thought the attachments,
Customization is cool.
I thought the customization was going to be like pretty scary, like going into it because there's so many attachments for every gun. But
I still don't know what to
honestly,
use.
it's pretty cool. I still don't know what to use, but I think that's going to create some cool metas over time.
Um,
I saw people using that silenced MP7 the other day, which is like that's cool.
I think that. Sorry to go back to the doors. I think that if they're gonna have doors, you can't have it where there's two doors. If you get what I'm saying. Like, so when you go to close a door, you have to hold square on both ends of the door, which makes it kind of ridiculous. It's so slow, and I think COD is way too fast paced to have people closing two doors. By the time that those situations happen, it feels like you're a sitting duck at those spots. Like you don't
So
need that at all.
here's the thing with that though is like that's obviously a huge part of this game. Every single map has a ton of doors. So like how do they fix it but still keep the new mechanic they brought in the game? I think my take on it would be you need to make peeking and just opening doors completely silent. If somebody wants to sprint and burst through a door, yes, that can make noise. You understand what I'm saying? You should also, I think, be able to like maybe shoot a door open. There just has to be different ways.
Has to be a way to get through the door.
Get
I
through
think
the
that's
door
true.
without being.
Can you nade doors?
You
open?
can nade and stun doors, but like the issue is like that's gonna slow you down. Like if say in search or something, like I'm rushing something, and there might be somebody inside of that room. Like I would like my teammate maybe to shoot it as I'm about to go in there. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
there just has to be a way around that. I think the quickest way though is just to make peeking and opening doors just completely silent. If you're gonna actually take your time to hold square and open it, it has to be silent.
Talking about silence. My God, this is the loudest game that I've ever played. I really don't know. Like, this is the weirdest decision for me from Infinity War this whole time is how loud they decided to make everything in this game.
Yeah.
Everything is ridiculously loud. You can hear even public match kids, people on their couch. I die and I watch. And I'm just getting heard. They're not sound whoring or whatever you say. It's just so loud they can't not hear it.
Since we're gonna talk about how loud something is, let's talk about this new branding that Seattle just dropped, and we'll go back to the game. We'll talk about Dead Silence. But since it's fresh, 7 minutes ago, Seattle just announced their brand in Call of Duty and their name. So they're called the Seattle Surge. I'm going to load it up and I'll put it on screen for you guys so we can watch it together. Here we go. Drown them out. That's their hashtag. They already have a little like wave, dude. I kind of like that, bro. It's kind of sick. All right, you ready? Okay.
Honestly,
I kind of like. Not bad. Impressive, but not bad. Not bad. Like if we're gonna go down the list with some of the teams, like this might be one of the better ones. I'm not gonna, cause, we'll get to that too. But I like that, man. They got a good team, a good brand, owned by the Canucks, Luminosity. I like their colors, man. I'm a blue, black, and white guy myself, so I like it. This is giving me Seahawk vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they were going with. It's that color scheme, the rain, water, the always raining in Seattle. I mean, it's not bad.
Chat,
It's
W
like
or
Poseidon-ish.
Yeah, W or L in the chat, guys. Let us know. All right, back to Dead Silence. Pick up on your thoughts on Dead Silence, Sean, and the sound system in this game.
So here's the thing. Here are the thoughts that people have. Right. One is that it needs to be a perk. Okay, fair enough. If it is a perk, I'm okay with that. It needs to go in perk slot 3 if it's a perk. If it's a perk,
I agree.
You have to have it slot 3 because it has to counter Battle Harden. Like you can't have Dead Silence and Battle Harden in this kind of title because let's be honest, there needs to be some balance. There's arguments for perk 1, but I think perk 3 is just better overall for the game. Like the whole perk 2 slot is just so bad right now.
I completely agree.
That's just a complete pub slot. Go ahead.
I completely agree, and I think with like Dead Silence, like I think it should be, even like if it stays the way it is now, where it's like a field upgrade. Like if you're gonna pop Dead Silence, you shouldn't be completely like silent when you're sprinting. It's too, you know what I mean? Like it's too much. Like I think maybe when you're walking, you should be silent. When you're sprinting, you should probably always make noise because there's an issue with smokes and being completely silent right now.
I think
you can make too many plays.
When they have Dead Silence and you don't, you're basically a sitting duck. So you have to sit completely still and hold. Like if you know your teammate died by Dead Silence, not only did that guy die by Dead Silence, now he has a full new 30 seconds of Dead Silence to run around. You can pretty much insta flank because no one else can move. As soon as you have Dead Silence and they don't, they have to sit still.
It's a simple fix, dude. When you're walking and crouched, just like the history of COD, you should be silent. Period.
Right. So if you don't have Dead Silence field upgrade, you should have a way to be quiet.
If I'm crouched on the ground, literally walking 1 millisecond, like I should be silent. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how you make plays back in the day when you could hear. Like even in like MWR Modern Warfare Remastered, you play that. When you're crouched, you're quiet. You know what I mean? And you can't hear them. And I think the sound in that game, like you're gonna get sound hoard a lot, but like even then, when you're crouched, you don't make noise and you can still clutch around, dude. If you don't have Dead Silence and you're in like a 1v2 right now, you are fucked. You're not doing anything.
Unless the other team throws it, you can't do anything.
Dude, Ramaza Search and Destroy, bro. Ramaza Search and Destroy. if you don't have dead silence, you're not moving unless your whole team's smoking out the map. Like if you're in a 1v1, you're fucked, bro. Or 1v2, you're fucked. If you're the guy that has to go plant, you're absolutely screwed. There's nothing you can do.
Get on to the maps now. Should we talk about these maps in this game?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull this up. Let me pull up the tweet of the maps so far. Hold up. This is like rumored stuff, guys, but here we go. All right, so we played a lot of Search. I feel like we're probably most equipped to talk about Search. Let's go down the list. Arcloth Peak. I like it.
Arcloth Peak Search is probably the best search in the game right now, which is kind of ridiculous. But
snipers, dude.
The snipers are ridiculous on the map, and also on every map. Have you guys noticed that there's like, so if I were to draw a box of the map, there's like 20% of the map on every edge that could just be gone. There's giant back areas. So yesterday I was playing Arcloth Hardpoint. I didn't even know there was like this giant ruined ditch area in the back of like both sides. there's maps are so huge on the one field side. The field is okay, fine. There's a field on the right side, but the field is massive. It's like it's a map of its own on the side of the map that you barely use, and there's so much map on that map, and it's still probably the best search and destroy map.
I like Arclov because like it makes sense to me. You can push either bomb site on offense. On defense, like yeah, you can stack a bomb site and wrap and retake. So there's options on both sides, right? I like when there's options. That's going to create more strategy. So like on offense, I like how like when you push A, you have to throw nades. You have to use your tacticals wisely. Maybe nade the guy off that rock, and use smokes and get pushed up. And then the defense also has options to counter that, right? Like they can push back through your smoke, or they can go through mid and cut through that and hold you in. So there's different things you can do. And then even B, like you can go through mid, smoke it off, or you can go all the way right through field at the same time. So you just have options, and I think that is one of the better search and destroy maps for that reason. My only issue with that map is how good snipers are in this game and how annoying like you need to snipe back. Yeah, because a smoke doesn't last that long in this game, and like it's pretty difficult to avoid snipers. Like it's just going to be difficult. Like I could see teams running 2 snipers on Arclov and just dominating the map, like sending a guy mid and one guy looking over B. Like if a team on offense doesn't make a quick play, the sniper is going to destroy you. So that's my only issue with it, but I think it's solid.
I do believe that's a solid map. And then you have the other maps. There's a problem with a lot of bombs and bomb sites on this game. So if we look at St. Petrograd S&D, Hackney Yard S&D, the strategy is legitimately just to run a straight line into the bomb site, and you beat them there by like a good 3 to 4 seconds. You just have a ridiculous advantage that you didn't do anything to work for.
Yep.
It's just constantly smashing the hill or the bomb sites in Search and Destroy. It's not tactical at all. They made a game built on being tactical, and made maps and bomb sites where the spawns don't even lend to that. It's kind of ridiculous. Though playing those maps over and over as the only options we have, because there's realistically 6 5v5 maps in this game. The other ones are like the Palace map, that stupid map with the bridge on top. Those maps are just throwaway maps in my opinion. Ground war maps.
Petrograd, like that bomb site, dude. It's too. You have to go there. Why would you go?
Why wouldn't you? Why would you ever go to the map that's across their spawn?
The other bomb site is literally like. It's like each bomb site is like in the same spot for defense and offense. You know what I mean? It's like, why would we go there? So I don't know. It's super weird. You just have to charge there, and you have to trade. And the other team, if they want to flank you, like they have to go all the way around mid. And with the way sound works, like it's not happening, dude. You know what I mean? So it's realistically just a trade battle. And that being said, I think it's one of the better searches. The way it plays out, like for real, I really think it's one of the better searches. Just because. I like the 5v5 just fighting out at the bomb site rather than just people soundhorning me mid-map on like Ramaz or like a Piccadilly. But yeah, in terms of ranking them, I think Arclob number 1. What'd you put number 2? Did you put Petrograd?
Probably Ramaza, to be honest. I feel like Ramaza because you actually, I mean, you can go to both sides. There's a power position in like the middle red building or whatever people are calling it to hold, where you can see both.
Repeat what you just said. The first thing, you can go where?
You can go to the middle red building on Ramaza.
No. You can go both sides. Is that what you think?
On Ramaza, yeah, you can go A.
You can.
Usually people solo A or play like one guy mid 1A.
And how do you know? How you finding that kill? How you finding that kill? Where's he? He could be anywhere. He can literally be first, second, or third story.
We're also in the first week of the game, so the strategies are a little bit remedial right now. So I still think that you will be able to go to both bomb sites on that map. More so than Petrograd, Hackney Yard, where that's not even search and destroy. That's like one life team deathmatch where you just slide into a building and pray.
I would agree you can go both sides of that map if the sound was different.
Gunrunner.
It all goes back to
Gunrunner,
sound. Like
if
there's a guy mid.
spawns up on Gunrunner, runs backwards, he can literally shut down 5 people running at A by himself. Come on, man. There's one site to go on every map, and I think Ramaza
You can
gives you at
push
least
A. I think
somewhat of an
A-
option to go the other on.
A on Gunrunner is easier to push than A on Ramaza.
No, it's not.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it is,
No,
dude.
it's not.
Because
Not
you
in a
can just
5v5
utilize
game. I feel like-
smokes. You can throw a ton of smokes, and you can push
I
out,
couldn't disagree
and you can at
more,
least
bro.
beat. If you smoke it, you can beat them to that left. I don't think it's too
No
bad.
way,
There's
because
too
in
much
a
to look
5v5,
at.
If we're
Ramaza.
talking about competitive Call of Duty in a 5v5 game, you're never catching anyone lacking not watching A. The reason why in like 3v3s and 4v4s, yeah, sometimes they just give up A sometimes, but in a 5v5 you never have a reason to. One person can always shut it down. A is going to be ridiculously impossible on Gunrunner.
All right, we can agree to disagree. All right, moving on to I'm putting I think Arklov, Gunrunner, Petrograd are the best search maps, and then after that it's literally just a free for all to me. And you think what is it? Arklov, Gunrunner, and Ramaza. Those are your 3.
Something like that. And then
I don't think
honestly,
Hackney's
I
even
think
playable,
Piccadilly's
dude.
better than Hackney,
Yeah.
Petrograd, and like whatever else is left. Cave.
Piccadilly's a pretty tactical map actually.
Cave is like. That's another map where the other bomb site is like B bomb is in their spawn. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think B bomb on Cave needs to be pushed to like that low blue building that's
Yep.
next to the house. So at least defense has to progress up the map to stop the site.
Yeah, that actually could work. I didn't even think about that.
I'm a genius.
Don't go that far. All right, moving on to Dom. Did we play all these Dom maps yesterday? We only played Respawn. We played like 5 hours yesterday, and because we've been playing a lot of Search. We played Petrograd for sure. We played Ramaza for sure. We played Gunrunner. I don't think we played Hackney Dom, but we played the other 3. Yeah, we definitely played the other 3. Petrograd
So far,
was not very good for Dom, in my opinion. The flags
No,
were
it's
like tucked away. I think it was good, and B was weird because the buildings you can just camp up top. So I don't think Petrograd can be a Dom map. I honestly thought Gunrunner Dom wasn't too bad. The spawns probably were a little weird though. Remember we kept spawning behind each other on C flag. People would spawn on either side of the building.
yeah. I mean, that's just a game issue. Every map had spawn issues. I think that the B flag needs to be moved to more of a central location. I don't like it to be. It should always be the harder flag to get and the harder flag to retake. Like if B on Gunrunner moves to like between the pipes in the bathroom area, so that when you actually have control of it, you can hold it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a lot better map. Because right now it's in the coal side of the map. Well, you get like one kill, throw a smoke, you can just lay on the flag, and they're forced to run through the smoke, and you can get it back.
Yeah.
Super hectic.
I did like it though. I like the way it was playing out for the most part. Obviously, we only played it like once. Ramaza was campy, but it wasn't horrible. My only issue with Ramaza was like me and you, for example. We got into like 5 or 6 1v1s where I had the point and I was just listening to you because you have to push through that right side of the map. But the reason I don't think Ramaza is that bad is because you can hold an AC setup even when B is like difficult to cap. B is because there's been maps like that before in the history of COD and Dom where B is extremely difficult to cap, but A and C are kind of easy to get. So like if you did win that 1v1, if you said to people when you killed me, you're capping C, and my only option is to jump over a wall or sprint into the back door, and you guys can hold an AC setup. So I don't mind that. Whereas B is super hard, you can get A and C. So I thought Ramaza and Gunrunner were okay. I thought Petrograd was horrible, and I have not played Hackney Yard Dom yet. But Priest has said it's absurd. Yeah.
And I believe him because Hackney so far just seems to be the map that people thought was going to be good, but the more and more you play it, the more you're like, map's kind of absurd. Like just the way things are on that map and how like head bashy it is.
I don't like that whole green side
either.
Yeah, it's just like crazy. It's not really utilized too much either. Like especially in search. Like why would
No
you
reason to go there?
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, moving on to Hardpoint. Okay, I want to bring up something first that I have a problem with. Azir Cave Hardpoint is horrendous, dude. The second hill on Azir Cave is unbelievable, or whatever. I think it's second. The one that's in the back, in the little shed, like in the back of the cave, the back corner of the cave, in the little shed next to the big car. You know what I'm saying? The second hill, John. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So it rotates. We're playing those 10s, and I wish I had the clip right now, ill prepared. But I hit around the back with Danny, with Looney. I pick up 3 kills, and I'm currently at the bend when I pick up that last kill. At the bend. The hill is right here, and I'm right here. And they all 3 spawned right in front of the hill, turned around and killed me and Danny. That map spawns are actually really, really fucking bad. There was a hill inside of the cave. I don't know what number hill it was. And there's a part of that map where you can drop down a ladder, and a player, Happy, was sitting there above that ladder, spawn killing us over and over like an MW2 spawn trap. He got like 6 kills. Remember he picked up the VTOL?
Yeah, he did.
Hardpoint, you should not be able to get spawn trapped. If somebody's that close to where they can spawn trap you, you should be spawning in a different spot. That means they're flipping. Yeah, you should be spawning out somewhere. Yeah. So that's a problem. That map spawns were terrible, along with Hackney Yard. I don't know if you have any thoughts in there.
Oh wait, I thought Azir Cave Hardpoint was unplayable. Hectic, just noise. The spawns were like static. You couldn't spawn people out. Like I think that map was unplayable. Arklov Peak Hardpoint unplayable. Yesterday we were playing the Hardpoint 10s that Nameless was just talking about. We lost rotation to the second hill in Arklov Peak, which is in the offensive spawn, like backwards from that spawn in Search and Destroy. And it was like 50 seconds left, and JCap, who we were playing with, said, we should honestly just chalk this and rotate. Yeah. And we were like, what? 50 seconds? We were like, no way. Like, this is our first time playing it. We're going to go check it out. We ran the 150 meters, so we got there at about 35 seconds, got wiped instantly, tried again, wiped instantly, and we realized this is Unbreakable Hill. Completely unbreakable.
Yes. Second hill is unbreakable. So
and then there's another one on the opposite side of the map. That's the same exact thing. That map, you might as well just not even, if they get the hill, don't even feed kills. That means the map's unplayable. You can't break any of the hills. You spawn too far away. You take these long runs. Imagine having a sub running for 25 seconds to get killed by a guy in the corner. Now imagine having a sub running the 25 seconds, killing the guy in the corner, and then the guy just spawning with his teammate and then killing you again. Yeah. It's unplayable. Yeah. You can't break the hills.
Yeah, and whereas like I think Search has a lot of promise in this game. I think Hardpoint, it's not esports ready at all right now. Like it's the furthest thing from it. But like, if they fix the spawns a little bit, it'll be like tolerable. Like if they fix the spawns on Azir Cave, tolerable. If they fix spawns like I didn't think Gunrunner Hardpoint was terrible. I thought that's probably the best Hardpoint right now. If they fix the spawns on Hackney Yard, it's a lot, and that map needs a lot of work for spawns. I was spawning into grenades. I was spawning behind people. I was spawning simultaneously next to people. Yeah. It's like that map. Like it's. I feel like when they were making the spawns, like they just like forgot. It was like the last map they did, and they just like literally jammed it. Played their keyboard.
To me, when I play Hardpoint in this game, I'm just gonna be honest. It doesn't even feel like Hardpoint was in mind when they made the game. So
yeah,
that's like I don't even know if that's IW's fault. They probably added it in there just for us in the competitive community. But the game, if you play the hardpoints, it doesn't work. It really doesn't. And I know that's the game mode that we've grown to love, and that's our game 1, 2 map game mode or whatever. But this game right now, I honestly don't even think there's really a point to play it that often. It's just Dom at least makes more sense.
Well, Dom's simple, right?
Dom is way more simple. Their spawns are still messed up, but the hardpoint spawns, when a hardpoint spawn is messed up, it literally can just change the game.
No, the spawns are really bad at hardpoint.
And win those fights, you should win that rotation. But like Nameless just said, we spawned right in front of them, killed them anyways.
We were on Hackney Yard. We were on the first hill, and we had all 5 players around the first hill, and we were on rotation. There's 10 seconds left. Looney gets 3 kills in a row, like a 3-piece kill feed, right at the back car, and the next hill's at the blue building, so it's like right in front of us, and we are all pushing, right? So we're all in front of them, and they still spawn at that blue building. Where they should be spawning is back green. They should be spawning by the taxi over there, back green. But they're spawning at the hills. So like clearly the spawns need a ton of work for Hardpoint to even be tolerable. I can't even play it until they go back and try to fix those spawns. But all right, I think we've talked enough about that. Restricted items. Is there a reason to talk about any of this stuff?
No, it's all generic.
All right. We'll do a more in-depth talk about the game next week when we've played more. But those are just kind of like our initial thoughts. But overall, I know there's a lot of negative stuff we were just talking about. The game is very fun, and I think there's a lot of potential. Search, I think, is the best mode. Dom has potential, and Hardpoint needs a lot of work. But things I would like to see fixed very soon is Dead Silence, a tweak just to the bass sound in general. I would like smokes to last a little bit longer, and the door mechanic, I would like that to be like opening and peeking doors should be silent, in my opinion. Do you have anything you'd like to see fixed immediately?
Mounting needs to be changed completely. It's like ridiculously OP. The guns don't move at all when you're mounting. Honestly, I think they need to give toggleable options for professional play. I think that if you just remove the doors completely from competitive play, I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't
know. That probably sounds.
I like to think about a way.
It's probably a really hard thing to do.
Well, I just like to think about a way to work with what they put in the game before just removing shit right away.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but like those things like that, like making a door opening silent, I guess.
Oh my god, I can't believe we almost forgot about this headshot multiplier.
Oh,
That
Jesus
needs to be
Christ.
turned the fuck down.
It needs to be cut in half at least. Now, there's certain spots on the map where like the headies are kind of crazy, so the headshot multiplier makes sense. But the number of fights that you lose just on people fighting out in the open because you hit them first and then you instantly perish when you get hit in
Instantly,
the head,
dude.
it's ridiculous. Like that's not a skill. People aren't just aiming for your head out in the open and killing you. Like on your screen, you get evaporated. Like cool
You
doesn't know.
literally die instantaneously, dude. It's actually ridiculous. All right, so yeah, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about the actual, mechanics and maps and stuff like that next week. Once we've played a little bit more and we've played a little bit more respawn, so we have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to it. But that's just kind of my first impressions. But I do have fun. Like I'm gonna get on every day and grind it, regardless. All right. Should we go into our ranking the teams
I
segment?
feel like yeah. Let's talk about the teams. Let's talk about these teams, guys.
Okay. Where's this go? Let me pull up these rosters. All right, guys. So let me pull this up for you guys. Give me a second. We made a tier maker list, and I want every single person in the chat and on Twitter to partake in this. Okay. We are going to be ranking the teams, and here it is right here. So my list is going to be on the left. John's list is going to be on the right. Here are your options, right? So there's 12 teams. And now that Seattle announced their logo, but they didn't have it when I made this, so here's their little thing. You can rank them as definitely trash, which means they're gonna suck. Easy win, F D C B A S. I would say the cutoff for being a solid team is probably like C, like for being just okay, like you can win games. So if you get ranked below that, you're pretty cheeks. But would you like to start things off?
Yeah, let me start with I'm gonna start from the bottom. We're gonna start from the bottom up, and we're just gonna go back and forth. So from my bottom team, I'm not gonna put anyone in the definitely trash. 'Cause
Why
I
not?
don't want to, because I don't know if they're gonna definitely be trash. They're all professional players, right? So there's levels to this. I don't know about definitely trash, but my bottom team, my number in the easy W category, I'm gonna have to go with Paris. Like no way around it. When you look at all these other rosters, Paris just like
Here is the Paris roster for you guys.
the Paris roster. It's like their roster actually looks like other teams' bench players. Like that's what it looks like to me. So unless they just come out and are strategically way better than everyone else, which is highly unlikely, I think that they'll be the team that struggles early on in the league. So I'm
I
gonna put
definitely think
Paris
they'll struggle. I mean, you
in
got
my easy
Kismet,
W category.
Brezzy, Zed, like aggressive players. It ain't working, my guys. This game, like, it ain't gonna work this game. Maybe yeah, like you said, strategically, like, yeah, they can figure something out. But like, I think like Zed, a lot to do with how good he was just Dylan. Like how decent his team was last year. It was like Dylan was
It's not that
incredible.
Zed's bad. I
No,
mean,
he's not
Zed's
bad.
very up and down as it is.
Yeah.
He's a very good player when he's like feeling himself. But there's other times where he just bombs on the map, right? So it's like you just have too many wild cards on that team. I guess their best player going in, if you're looking at it, is Kismet, and in this league, that's not a very strong best player. That's
Alright.
just how I look at it.
Okay, so I'll start from the bottom up as well. All right, I'm gonna start there when we already talked about it. All right, go ahead.
Do them
Your
in
next
definitely
one.
trash.
I have to, dude. I mean, like, and when I say definitely trash, like, I just think that they're gonna need to make some moves. Like that team, like, you're just definitely trash if I know for a fact that you're gonna be in the bottom percentile of the teams. Like, that's the way I look at it. Prove me wrong, right? And I know there's probably gonna be some Paris fans in here, but that's just how I feel, man. And I'm gonna be bluntly honest. Like, I think that team is trash, dude. I don't think that it was built properly at all. And I think there's players literally out there right now that would make that team better. I think they dropped the ball completely. All right, go ahead, John.
For my 11th spot, I'm gonna go with the LA Gorillas, a rumored roster, let's say. Because I mean, so I'm gonna say this:
Let me pull up
most
their
of the
rumored
rumors
roster.
turned out to be true, right? So we're just gonna go with whatever's rumored, and we do know that Aches is there.
So I have a list. Where's
first guy?
the rumor? Okay, here's their rumored roster.
Yeah.
Aches confirmed. Aqua, Decimate, Saints, Lacefield. You
Yeah,
want to talk about
I'm
this
gonna-
roster a little bit before you?
I mean, so this is a team of people that I feel like we're just kind of left over, and you know what kind of year that Aches had last year, and they just like it feels like they played a whole game without winning maps after like maybe the London event. I think this game will actually suit them a lot better, but I do think that the league is extremely difficult, and I don't know if this team is going to be able to put it together. I just think that I'm going to put them in my F category just because when you compare them to the other rosters, I don't think that they have the power necessary unless Dooley returns to that form where he's just completely godlike and Saints is like in that form where you've seen him in the past, but I don't think he's been that way for a while, and I think that it's been proven over time that he has other things on his mind when it comes to being a teammate.
All right. I'll save my thoughts for when I put teams where I think they're going to be. It's going to make it easier if we just go up your whole list, so I don't have to keep moving this.
All right, that's fine.
All right. But yeah. All right. Moving on to the next one. I'll reserve my thoughts for when I make my list. All right, chat. So we're gonna complete John's first. All right. So far, Paris 12, Gorillas 11, WF.
10 spot. I'm putting Ultra, the Toronto Ultra.
Is that D?
F category.
F category. Okay.
Yeah, right. Right ahead of Gorillas.
Let me pull up their roster. They got a full NBA
their roster is
squad.
like an NBA team. Like they're like a football team. Now, if you look at their roster's 10 deep. You honestly don't know who the starters are gonna be.
Besides,
and I guess
just Looney.
That's a different. Yeah,
Zinni.
Looney on the roster is by far the best player, right?
I'd say Looney, Methods, yeah.
I would just say Looney's by far the best player.
But Meadows probably has delusional confidence against Methods.
But like you have people on the roster. Classic, is he a starter? Bance, is he a starter? And then Meadows and Lucky, they're good players, but are they starters? And then you have people, I mean, Mayhem, Kleenex, no disrespect to those guys, Cammy, they're probably just going to be subs, right? But I have no idea what their team's going to even look like. It just like, I don't know what they did. I know that Zinni's going to be a starter as the main AR, Looney's going to be the sub, and then after that, you just fill them in everywhere, and I just don't, it's like, I don't understand the direction that the Toronto organization took in building this roster at all. I don't understand it, and it's. I think they could have done a lot better than that they did. Signing 10 people, I think it just adds confusion, especially when a lot of those people, like if Classic's a sub, he's a guy that's won a championship last year. He's easily a guy. As soon as you lose, how do you have a guy that's winning championships on your bench? Looking at these guys that have got like 6th place and be like,
I don't know.
So
it's a weird dynamic. I think
like,
that
Vance won a championship, but he's most likely not going to be a starter, right? Like these guys could easily be starters. It's just a weird dynamic.
What they did was like they put themselves in a situation where Marky B and Wisdom's job is going to be so hard. Like if this team is not performing, who the fuck do you put in? Like it's going to be so difficult. Like, because every single one of these players is going to want to play, and every single one of these players on this, besides Looney, is pretty evenly matched in terms of skill. We've seen them playing great at certain points in their career, right? Like, with maybe Cammy and Kleenex being, like, the two players that, aren't as proven, but, like, you look at the rest and you're like, okay, maybe this guy can sub in. So their job is going to be so difficult to know who should play, and if this team's not performing, there's going to be players on whatever starting roster they have at the certain time, like, sitting there like, yeah, man, maybe we should play with this guy. He's been frying online. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard. They're going to have a tough job. Good luck, Marky B. Good luck, Dominique, because that's going to be tough.
Yeah,
all right, who's your next one?
Let's see. My next spot, I'm going to go with the rocker.
D?
Yeah, add a D, yeah, the rocker.
Okay. Let me pull that up.
I think that this team has potential, right? So I put them above those other teams. I think that if this game feels like a game that could work with for Assault and Silly, like slower, methodical players that can actually slay. It's just at the bottom end of the roster with Alex and Asim, I'm not sure that the team even feels like a team that would be on the right pace together, and it doesn't seem like they have consistent power. We saw Asim have flashes of brilliance for sure, but then the same thing is with Zed. I saw him have those times where he just like completely trailed off. Same with Alex, same with Assault, where sometimes he's been an extremely talented main AR, but then other times he's just been that guy where he's just so slow and static that he's not really doing much to add to the win. He's not losing you games either, but he's not doing anything to be that guy on the map that's going to get you wins against these other top teams. Like when we get to these upper echelon rosters, they're just ridiculously stacked, and I don't think this team actually matches up to those teams very well.
Sure. All right, let's do your next two, and then I'll do my next.
I believe the Florida roster. I'm going to put them in D as well. The rumored roster.
Mutineers.
Yes, the Florida Mutineers. I'm gonna put them there. I believe.
Their logo. Let me look at this. Hold on. Yo, their logo kind of looks like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. You brought that up last night.
Yeah.
When we were talking about it. What's his name? Derry Jones.
It's Davy Jones.
Davy Jones. Hold on, dude. Davy Jones, dude. Hold up.
It does.
Was this their inspiration right here? Yo, Mutineers, let's go, dude. This actually is what it looks like, bro. Hold on, let me open this. Oh, it's putting up the whole trailer. I thought this was hilarious, man. Let me look at their logo. Where's it at? It really looks like it, dude. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro. All right, next one. Or no, well, explain me your reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, this is a roster that I don't feel like can compete for a championship, but I do feel like they have solid pieces. So I think I have them as my highest ranked team that I don't think can win a championship. Because like they have, I mean, on the rumor is they're gonna have Mox, who just went to back-to-back finals. Frosty, like these guys, a champion in the past. Pristini just won back-to-back, but it seems like a mixed match group. And Havoc is a guy who was very good at Advanced Warfare, very good at Black Ops 4, but in the slower games, or the games where, let's be honest, there's just more thought process involved, he kind of faded away. Even in Infinite Warfare, when you played with him, he wasn't that great. World War II wasn't that great.
Last year, man.
Yo, last year he was freaking amazing. If this was last year, I think this roster would be a lot better than I think it's what's going to be in this game, in this title. It's just, I think that Havoc's impact on the map is better when he can just run around and be like a nuisance on the map and be more effective. In this game, when people could just sit in the corner and wait on him, I don't think he can be as effective.
So, oddly enough, like, I'll talk about it a little bit more in a bit, but I think this roster is like potential in that I think they'll be really good friends. I could see like this roster gelling together well, like chemistry-wise, right? There's some roster I look at where I'm like, clearly, like these guys aren't going to be good friends, and that matters. That matters.
Every team is friends before scrims and before losing happens.
Oh man, I think they can work through it. All right, but anyways,
losing makes it really hard to be friends.
All right, give me your next one.
One
more.
What is that? What 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That was my.
More, yeah.
That's my 8th. All right. Well, after that, I'm gonna skip the C category, and I'm gonna go to my number 7 team. I'll explain why, but my number 7
there's gonna be a gap here. Okay.
Yeah, my number 7 team, I'm putting in the B category. I'm gonna put Chicago NRG as 7th place team right now, and a lot of people are gonna be like, "What? That roster's insane," and it is insane. But all the rosters at this point are all insane, and I'm just gonna keep it a buck here with you guys. Scump clearly hates the game. Clearly despises the game.
Wait, I heard it. I didn't see the clip, but somebody told me last night that Scump said he'd rather get his surgery to remove 2 of his ribs and suck his own cock than play this.
Yeah, he did say that. He
said he'd rather remove ribs and suck his own cock, and this is a quote, so excuse my language, than play this competitively. That's what he said. So yeah, that's an issue.
And then there's, hey, in the offseason, I'm pretty sure that Gumless and Formal did not want a team together. They pretty much hated each other after their time in LG last season, but the way it worked out, they ended up teaming together anyways. And then there's Arcees and Envoy. These guys are great players, but I feel like there's a lot of emotions on this team. And if Scump hates the game, just knowing Scump, he's not going to go necessarily as hard as someone like I've been around Pierce a lot. He wants you to get on and play and go hard all the time. And Scump's not the person that actually just needs to do that. And then if their team actually falls apart friendship-wise, like you were just talking about, which we already know is possible because it already happened, this team could just be an emotional wreck. I still think they're pretty, like, just their players alone, I still think they can win. That's why I put them in B and not lower. They could easily win a championship, but they could win a championship like LG did and then just fall completely off right after that.
Here's the thing,
based on the fact of them not liking each other.
There's so much time for this team to just explode, and like, what's gonna, like, Forma has 20,000 subscribers on Twitch. Like, he's a full-time streamer. Like, when scrims begin, his life is gonna be tough, man. Unless he streams scrims. So like, I don't know. I mean, like, we all know Arcees wants to win. We all know Envoy hasn't got a chip yet, so he really wants to win. Like, I'm not doubting Formal and Scum's drive to get a championship. I'm just wondering, like, the balance of that team, how it's gonna work out. You get me? So
yeah.
I don't mind where you place them, but they have so much talent, and maybe they're just they'll be freaks of nature and figure it out. But let's transition over. Let me do the rest of my 6 teams, then we'll go back.
Go for it.
Move this over here. All right, so let me look at yours one more time. Trash list. Mine's gonna be way better. All right. So going in, I'm gonna skip the easy W because I think there's gonna be a big gap between. I think there's gonna be trash and there's gonna be like a gap there. Man, I gotta do it to him, dude. The Rocker, they're just not gonna be good, man. Like, and my reasoning for it is this: like, I think this team doesn't really have a shot at beating some of the top teams. I think the other teams are just too star-studded. I think Assault and Silly will be a lot better this year than they were last year. It's a slower pace game. But the rest of the roster, where it rounds out, like the Asim, Alex, and Godarex will probably be solid. I just don't think that this roster has a good dynamic, right? I don't think they're versatile enough to be able to beat those top teams, and I don't think they're going to be smarter than them either. Brian Saint is going to have to figure out a lot. He's going to have to coach these guys. I don't think they have a true leader on this team. Who's going to lead this team? Like, it's got to be Silly, right? Is the only one.
Probably Silly, yeah, probably Silly.
And I just don't think that he's up to the task yet, right? Like, I don't think that this team is going to thrive under Silly's leadership.
Silly's been playing forever now at this point, and
I don't think he's a leader,
well
though.
for a long time too.
And we can disagree. I think Silly's a great player. I think he's great. I think him and Assault will be the two best players on this team, but I don't think he's going to be a great leader. That's my opinion on that. And I think they'll be one of the bottom 4 teams until they make maybe a change or a trade later on in the season. But they're definitely, those 2 players will be a lot better. All right, moving on. This was tough for me, dude. This one was tough for me because I have faith in Aches, but I don't know. That team is so toxic, dude. That team is so toxic, man. Look at it, dude. Aqua, Saints, Lacefield. We saw Aqua and Saints team before. It didn't work out too well. Aqua, Aches, Saints, and Lacefield on the same team. That's a
lot of work for Pat to get on the same page.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, it is.
They have some talent, but, like, we know how these guys can be, bro. Like, we know how Saints can be. He can just get on and not want to try. We know Lacefield plays with a ton of emotion. I've seen him lose maps in the middle of a series on land and walk in the back and be like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, snapping, like, and that can be a good and bad thing, but over the course of a long season, like, where you're flying and doing stuff, like, I don't think that this team is going to be a solid top contending team. Like, middle of the pack towards the bottom is where I'm going to place these guys. I think that these other teams are going to be able to deal with that stress a lot better than these guys, and I think they're going to hate each other if they're not winning right off the rip. I truly believe that. All right, so far, Paris, Rocker, Gorillas. Moving on, and this is the rumored roster, right? So if this isn't their real roster, this can change.
Right.
I'm not confirming anything here.
So far, our lists are similar. Continue.
I'm gonna have a couple teams in my C. I'm gonna put Ultra here, and these are gonna be the same, right? So I'm not gonna say there's a difference. I'm gonna put the Ultra here, and I'm gonna put them side by side with the Mutineers. And the reason is the Ultra roster has so many players on it. I think somewhere in that 10-player NBA roster, there is a middle of the pack team that can, go 1 for 1 and maybe upset some top teams here and there, right? I think somewhere in there they have a team that can do something.
Have that potential to do that, but how do they even decide when and where to plug those people in? Everyone has to learn the game. Like, you know what it's like when you're learning a new game. There's so much to learn when you decide to say, we're gonna bench medals for a classic.
And here's why I have faith in them to be like a top 8 team. I have a lot of faith in Looney. I have so much faith in Looney that I think that if the Ultra is struggling to figure out who they're gonna put in as their starting 5, like, Looney will figure it out. He's that smart. Like, Looney could easily go be one of the best GMs for a team. He's been around forever, and I think he will be able to figure it out. And I think Methods will be pretty solid at this game as well. So I think that Looney will figure it out above anything, and they'll be a top 8 team.
That's true, but who said that this was even a team that Looney wanted?
That's true. Could not be.
Maybe they're not even. Who says they're even listening to Looney?
They better listen to Looney. You tell if the Ultra with that roster,
what's happening in the behind the scenes of the Ultra organization. But Looney's one of my best friends in the community.
If the Ultra, if they don't listen to Looney,
this is not the roster that he wanted to go into the game with.
Okay, maybe not. But what I'm saying is, are you like alluding to the fact that, like, maybe Toronto won't listen to his say of things? Is that what you're trying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
If they don't do that, then that's mind blowing. That would be mind bending. That would actually blow my mind. I mean, they have to. Like, I'm saying, like, they'll just have to. Okay, I don't know much about that, but I'd be blown away. Okay, so what do I have? 5 so far? All right, one more. Well, let me talk about Minnesota, or not Minnesota, Florida. I actually, so you were giving this roster a lot of shit. You just don't like it, right? I actually think this roster is not too bad.
Go ahead.
I think this roster's not too bad. They have Pristini, who's a world champion. That guy always has, like, this super passion to just be the best player in the game. Like, when he loses, like, he wears his heart on his sleeve. I like that about him too. Like, he's good for that, and he's aggressive. He's changed his role multiple times, and he's dealt with it. So I think Pristini, like being one of the stars of this team, alongside Mox, who's one of the most disciplined ARs, who will definitely thrive in a game like this. Skies, who's pretty slow. He's got a good shot. He's a great search player, great AR player. Frosty, who first year last year was pretty damn good, not having the best teammates in the world, and that guy's got good comms. He can teach some of these guys things, and sort of Frosty's expertise from being one of the top Halo players in the world and winning world championships might translate better over to players like Mox, Skies, and Havoc than it would the last team that he had, right? He might have more of a say. He might feel more comfortable with some players that, maybe it's give and take. He can learn from as well. So I think this has a good dynamic. I think Havoc's going to be the wild card on this team, but, if it's like last year, he developed a lot. And I think this team has a lot of upset potential and will be a team that can upset top teams and will be solid. So I like it. I don't mind it.
I didn't give them too much crap. I just put them in. I said they're my favorite team of the teams I don't think can win a tournament.
That's
so
the way
I
I
just
put
don't
it,
think they're
yeah.
going to win the tournament. I'm just looking at it, but I don't think they're bad. I think they have potential to upset those teams for sure.
All right. Now, moving on. I want to put these guys, what is this? Let's see, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So this is my 7th team. I'm going to put the Royal Ravens here.
This is disrespectful.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's a disrespectful placing for those guys. But continue.
Ah, man. I just...
just putting them in the C category with Ultra and Florida is just...
Yeah, it's tough, but I'm going to space out, because I think there's going to be some gaps in, like, the top teams, and I'm going to space them out, and it's just the way this worked out for me. Maybe if I move these down a little bit to the easy one, but either way, I do think Royal Ravens will be better than Ultra and Mutineers, but there's still going to be sort of, like, I don't think that it's too far-fetched that these guys can, be just as good as Royal Ravens. I just think that this team, Wuskin, Scraps is very good. He's had issues getting that championship, but he's been a very good player. Dylan last year, it was a hyper-aggressive game, and he was very good. This game's not that aggressive. Jerd, pretty aggressive player. He was pretty good last year. This game's not that aggressive. I think that Rated and Wuskin are going to have a lot on their shoulders on this team. They're going to have to be very good as those AR players, and I think Dylan and Jerd are going to take a hit in this game. So I don't think this team is going to be as good. Like, if this is a Black Ops 4 team, I think this team will be pretty damn solid. But going into this year, I just don't have too much faith in them to be a top contending team. I know they're going to have a ton of fans. The London fan base is going to be crazy. Events in London are going to be absolutely insane. I just don't think this team is going to be able to beat those top teams, man. I can't see it happening. But, there's potential there. There's potential there.
I couldn't disagree more. Like, we saw how talented Dylan was last year, and I think that in a game like this, Rated gets a lot better. Wuskins can be a lot better than he was in Black Ops 4. And then Scraps is going to be a freaking problem in this game. I really believe that.
Scraps will be very good. I think he'll be very good.
And if Dylan can even be, like, half as dominant as he was, like, I don't think you're going to see a guy doing that in this title with a sub, at least not the way the game is right now. Then I think it'll be fine as long as Jared doesn't get pooed on running around at full speed like he normally does.
No, I mean, the way I think they'll be is I think they can beat a top team. I think they'll be able to beat any team, right, at any given moment. But on a consistent basis, I don't think they're going to be a top. I don't think at every tournament I go to, like, this team can win. I don't think we're going to see that. But they can prove me wrong. I'm excited for this roster, and I do think Scraps will be very good at this game. It fits his play style, like, almost to a T. All right,
I agree with that.
Moving on, we'll do your last 6 teams, and we'll move on to mine.
All right, well, we just talked about them. I'm going to put the Royal Ravens and B ahead of the the NRG Chicago team. Sorry about that. Whoopsies. And they're the team that I think in all of the teams I have between B, A, and S, I think that they can all be, like, really good, but they're the team that I think has the least chance to win a championship, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I can see them placing, like, top 3, top 4 at everything. Like, I can see them being at the top, but just for whatever reason, the makeup of these players, I have a hard time seeing them actually get a W. Just maybe it's because they haven't proven it before in the past, kind of like how we used to talk about that with Genji last season. They just haven't proven that they can actually get off that hump and win the actual tournament. So I do think the roster is very good. That's why I have them at B in the 6th spot ahead of NRG.
We should talk about it. They have one of the best coaching staffs as well. Shane, Dominic, Joe, Swizz. I think it's pretty solid, man. Joe being a coach is dope, man. I got a special place in my heart for Joe, man. I love Joe. You know this, right? You know that I love Joe, man. I think he's a beast, and I actually think Joe should be playing, dude.
So
I think Joe should be
I mean,
playing,
if he doesn't, maybe he didn't have the fire anymore, or maybe they just didn't feel like he was a starter and he didn't want to be a sub. Because I know being a sub is not for everyone. So I mean, I think he should be playing too. I don't think that he was ever as bad as people made it out to seem.
Yeah.
But
You know what this team would have? You know what would have made this team crazy though? If they had Trey, if they had Zero, this team would have been nuts. In place of
I
Weskin,
feel like every single time they had those talks, they would like end up fighting. Or with
man.
that team, they'd always be a freaking problem.
Think
with the
about
team
this game though.
internally
If they
with
had Trey, because Zero's nasty, man. If he was on this, I think then I'd put them in like my A or S tier. Like, I think that's the difference. I don't have a lot of faith in Weskin, especially after the last couple of years, and I think that's what was holding me back so much. But I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like, I think they have some potential to upset the top teams on any given day, but I don't think they'll win a tournament.
I think Weskins is solid, and I think this game suits his natural playstyle way more than Black Ops 4 did.
All right, let's move on.
All right. So for the next one, I'm gonna go with in my A tier. I'm in the 5 slot. I'm gonna go with the Subliners. I think that
Okay.
they have a lot of talent, but at the same time, we've seen it already in the past where Temp can be on these teams where it feels like they have a lot of talent, but they could just not perform up to expectations for an extended period of time for whatever reason. He hasn't been the best teammate to any of those teams. Like he had a team with Splasher, Hook, and Classic, and then they all left that team saying that team was garbage. That's just a ridiculous statement to me because I would have like actually killed someone to be on that roster with any of
Yeah,
the players. Like
yeah.
to say that team is garbage is ridiculous. But they do have solid players. Like I really think that Zero is very good. I think that accuracy is a very good. Like this game suits accuracy very, 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 very much. Just sit around with an L trigger, post it, and don't miss. I think that that team is super strong. And then if Zuma can figure out routes to actually take on this game, I think that's probably the biggest worry for me with this team. His natural play style is to hit gaps, find flanks. But right now, kind of hard to find a gap in a flank when they can just hear you from everywhere, right? So if he can figure that out, I think this team can be very strong. I have them in my fifth spot.
Man, why didn't you talk about this man right here? Doug Sensor Martin.
Because Doug is a content creator and he's there because he lives in New York and his name is Doug Simpson Martin. If it was just about gameplay, he would not be a sub for the team.
Wait, Doug
That's
would
why.
literally clap you on the map.
Sure.
You don't think there's anybody like if somebody goes
professional gameplay,
if somebody
so
goes Renegade?
everyone is talented. The only reason Doug would ever get into the game is because whoever the other sub is on the team also broke his thumbs, and that guy didn't get into the game.
So it takes an actual injury for Doug to get on the map, is what you're saying? For Doug to get in
Yeah,
and play.
Doug's a good Call of Duty player in his own right, but there's no way in hell he ever sees the light of day on this team.
You don't think?
He's a good. To me, he's the best sub pickup in the league because he's not challenging anyone's number one spot or starting spot, and he's a good guy that you can have shoot videos with. And,
That is true. Like
take photos.
he's the best sub because he's not. Nobody's worried about getting replaced by Doug, and
Yeah.
like when you're going to do content and stuff, it's not as dreadful because like Doug's there. He's pure entertainment, and not only that, like if you need somebody for a tournament, Doug's gonna be there instantly. Like I'm down, and he's gonna go 150%.
Right? Who wants a sub of like? Who wants like Classic as a sub behind them? This guy's getting third place. I want Classic behind me. Like what? That's obnoxious.
Yeah,
Doug,
if Doug fills in for me, he's gonna make me look godlike too. So
Yeah.
it's good. All right, all right, go on, move on.
Ahead of them, I'm gonna go in my fourth spot. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Empire. Now I know everyone's like seeing them win everything right now. They're clearly the best team in the game.
Oh, you said
Currently.
in A, right?
But yeah, ahead of the Subliners.
Okay.
But it's the first week of the game. Everyone calm down. Like it's a little bit ridiculous. I was watching them scrim yesterday, and Shopsy didn't even know what spawn them out means. Like right,
Oh,
so there's
yeah.
still a learning curve to go with this team. And if
Yeah.
it was all S&D and it was all happening right now, sure, Dallas Empire is dominant right now. But like they have a really strong team, a really strong roster, and if they did become the best team in the game, it would not shock me. But I just think that if the other teams learn and catch up, which they will, because that's what always happens. Normally in the past, the first event has been like next week, like it would already been there, and I would pick them to win it. But it's not. Like
I
it
would
just
not
got
pick them to
announced.
win next week.
The first actual competitive gameplay that matters is late January. By then, there's not going to be this huge learning curve gap between whoever the best team is and whoever the second best team is.
I will not forgive, and I will not forget.
Oh my god. So that's why they're in my fourth spot. If Clay can keep playing like he is right now, Clay's been I watch him a lot. Clay's actually freaking insane at this game. Like actually nuts. And I'm not off the Hook bandwagon or whatever. Like a lot of people said he was like overrated and stuff. I don't agree with that. if those two guys can play like how I think they can definitely beat a team at the top. Right now, I have in my 4 spot. I think they're super talented, and hopefully something good happens for one of Hastro's teams, man.
All right, move.
It's been a
By the
struggle.
way, to their who we don't know who their coach or GM is or anything like that. I'm interested to know who that is.
Yeah, I don't think that's been officially announced.
Empire had probably the dopest announcement, branding, everything, right? Like
Oh yeah,
coming
for
out the
sure.
gates.
I don't think it's close.
Like here's the thing: Empire announced a sick roster. I mean, above anything, it's a sick roster regardless if you think they're the best or not. They came out with a cool logo. Their videos were fire. Shout out to my dude Corey Doggett over there, man, and Hastro making some cool content, dude. I really liked the way they came out with everything. I thought some of the earlier teams that came out with their brands, they didn't do it the right way, and I thought Empire set a good precedent. And if you noticed, anybody who did anything after Empire, like, it's been a lot better than the stuff we saw earlier on. Like, they set a precedent. We're like, okay, we have to get to at least this threshold. So shout out to Empire for that. But moving on, your next one.
All right, and my last team in the A category, I'm gonna go with Seattle. I just think if those guys that like, other than Octane, Octane is like, to me, Octane has been the best, if not the second best, like main AR in the last, I don't even know, 4 years. He's actually freaking nuts, right?
Hold on.
But
Can we go back to an argument me and you had? We were using our outside voices in a quiet venue, screaming at
argument?
each other, talking about Slasher versus Octane respawn AR.
what are you talking about?
That pissed me
Have I
off.
put
Octane.
Slasher's team on this list yet?
I'm
No.
just saying in terms of you just said
If
he's
I
been the
was
best.
to
No,
pick
you just
Slasher
said
and Octane,
you
I
just
would
said
take
that
Slasher.
Octane's been the best AR.
No, I said it, the best or not the second best.
Octane's
Slasher
different,
is
man.
an option,
Octane's
not-
different. He's different. All right, go
Okay,
ahead. Continue
what
your
are you
thought.
saying?
Continue your thought. I just thought
Are
that
you
was funny.
wait? What are you drinking over there?
Nothing. Water. I just thought it was funny. Go
Are
ahead.
you crazy?
Go ahead. Move on.
Anyways, like what I was just saying, I would take Slasher over Octane if I had to pick
Oh,
between the
weird.
two. I would
Okay.
take them both if I could.
I just heard you
Anyways,
call him the best AR. That's all I'm saying.
Take rocks. All right. Seattle. If they can find some consistent slaying between the rest of the guys on the team, between Apathy, so Apathy's like a slow learner in these games. It's been well documented, well talked about. But when he's at the top of his top form, he's actually just nuts. If Karma can actually slay consistently with his new team and his new role, and we find some consistency out of Enable, like Enable's actually really disgusting in respawns. He has been.
Yeah.
I think this team could be super strong because you have a guy in Octane that's just gonna have a 1.4 with an AR in this game. It's just gonna be that way. He's gonna be super hard to kill. It's just up to these other guys to find consistency, and I think that they will. Slacked and Octane have a brilliant track record together, and that's why I have them in my 3rd slot. I think that they're super strong.
Yeah, they're nasty.
I don't know.
Dude. They
think
have
they have a
like
nasty
they have
roster.
4 consistent players, and they have 5 winners. This team is going to be a top 3 team. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I'll talk a little bit more when it gets to my turn. But moving on.
My S tier in the number 2 slot. This was hard for me. I was going back and forth a lot. But in my number 2 spot, I'm going to go with the LA Optic. Put LA Optic in the number 2 spot.
Wow.
I mean, they're disgusting, obviously. If you look at them on paper, they have all the talent you could need.
Number
and
2, huh?
then, yeah, number 2. And then you have JCap, who's a talented guy in his own right. I don't know why the community has been on his case so much. Talented guy in his own right, but also a guy that you know is going to make the right play in pretty much every situation, and he's going to take scrims super serious. So their team's going to be on the same page. I just feel like this roster is just absolutely absurd, right? There's almost no argument against them being 1 or 2, probably with Atlanta on everyone's list, or Dallas Empire at this point, if that's how you feel about them. But
Man, putting
They're-
LA
it's-
Optic below FaZe is kind of cap, dude. I don't.
huh?
Man, I feel it. We can
LA
argue this,
Optics-
bro.
I mean, you can. I just think that. I mean, this roster's nuts. Like, it's hard to argue against them being 1 or 2, right? You already know what you get out of.
So this is
Dashy
your
and
gut feeling,
TJ.
right? This is all it is.
This is
Okay.
my gut feeling, right? And like last
Recency
year,
might be taking
Slasher
over
and
for
Kitty
you.
did get off to a slow start, right? If they didn't get Priesta in that pickup in the middle of the season, who knows what would have happened? They say they would have got Dylan, and it would have been the same thing regardless. But you don't know that for sure, right? Priest is a freaking animal and can do anything on the map. So I don't know. Right now, I'm just gonna lean towards them.
All right. Now let me
And-
move on to my. Let's get
I
a
mean,
final
yeah,
look.
that-
Actually, we'll do a
obviously,
side by
go
side
ahead.
final look at the end.
My
We'll do a
number
side by
one
side
team,
final look
Atlanta
at the end.
FaZe.
But
Alright.
your number 1 team is Atlanta FaZe. Do you want to give a
Yeah.
reason why?
I mean, they have the best sub players in Call of Duty. They have Priesta who could do whatever the hell you need him to do in the game. So like right now we don't really know what the meta is going to end up being, But you do know that Simp and Abizi are gonna be discussing what they do, literally, and then Priest is gonna be that guy, right? So right there, you already have like three in my head, three
You're
of
selling
like, the top
this.
10 players in the game for
You're
sure.
selling this.
Three top 10 players, and then Major Maniac to me was the most consistent best player on Gen G. Disgusting player, disgusting search player.
Envoy wasn't it? Envoy was it? Envoy. Wait, rewind, my brother.
What?
Envoy, you thought Major Maniac was better than Envoy last year?
I mean, I said consistently throughout the whole season. Envoy joined the team later on in the season. Remember that?
Okay, I mean,
and Major Maniac was good the entire time.
He was great, yeah.
Yeah, the entire time.
You don't think that maybe this game will be a little bit difficult for this team?
How? Why?
I don't know. It's a little bit
Are
slower.
you going to use that whole cracked argument? That argument sucks. This team is good. Ever since Simp has been on this team, he's been going to get Call of Duty.
You would favor, if there was a champs tomorrow, you would favor this team over LA Optic.
I just told you I would. That's why I put him first.
Envoy was literally
who the best SD player in that game was. It was Abizi. It was torturing everyone. This team is insane.
It's a nasty squad. Don't get me wrong, it's a nasty squad, but like I just feel like it is blasphemous to put these guys above LA Optic. I think it's insane.
I disagree. I feel like
even Seattle. I think it's insane to put them above Seattle. To be honest, I don't.
I think that Atlanta has more raw talent than any other team, and they have Crowder as the coach. If there's anyone who can get the team on the same page, it's going to be him. I just think that team is just ridiculous, and they're going to be organized. They have the most talent. I don't even know how you can argue against them having the most talent. People said that Dashy had the most talent, right? Then Simp came along, and you saw
you die instantaneously in this game. What is your talent?
Doesn't matter. Talent's always going to be a thing. You died instantaneously in Ghost. Are we going to pretend like there wasn't talent in Ghost?
Well, I was one of the best players in the game, and I'm not that talented, so I don't really think
you were only one of the best players in the game to you. So there's that.
What? Oh, no, that's bullshit. That was bullshit that you said. I'm gonna pretend you never said that. I'm gonna pretend like you never said that. I'm gonna pretend like you never said that. I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna do the rest of my list because this list is garbage.
List is perfect.
Your list was great.
Joe was the second best player on your team.
Then what?
Joe was the second best player.
Oh, so now we're just throwing daggers, huh?
That's not a wait. Joe? That's a dagger? Joe was just better than you.
No, he wasn't. Joe was great. Don't get me wrong, but I was different, dude. It's just a fact. All right, so
Joe was better.
So this is where it got pretty difficult for me, trying to decide like if I wanted to put this team in A or B tier. But I have to do it for some similar reasons that John put them there. I think that this team is going to be like they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of players with championships, players who've done it before, MVPs. I think there's a lot of stuff outside of the game that these guys are going to have to fix. There was a point where Formal and Gunless hated each other. There's a point where Formal and Scump absolutely hated each other. It's just this team, they have a lot of like different dynamics in the way that they think about competition. Formal and Scump, their drive to win. I think there's some questions there. Personally, that's what I would think. And I think they're going to have issues outside of the game if they're not winning straight off the bat. They're going to be a fan favorite, of course, but I think some of these other teams are going to be ahead of them. But we already talked about this a lot, but that's I sort of agree with you there on a lot of those things. Moving on, I'm going to put the Subliners with them as well. I think the Subliners, I think they're a team that can win a championship. So any team that I have from B to S, they can win a championship. Obviously, the teams down here, I think, are a little bit farther out, and maybe there's some other things holding them back. But kind of what you said about, Temp in last year, he has this ability to implode on teams. He had a great roster last year and didn't think that his team was that great, which kind of blows my mind. Like, he had some of the best players in the game alongside him and players who have won before. He's still chasing that.
He couldn't win a tournament with Looney on his team when Looney's won a tournament every single title.
Yeah, so, he had a great team, and that was like Temp's best game as well.
It's disgusting.
I've heard there's some rumors where there's some players who disliked each other previously, and they're sort of in that honeymoon period where they're just okay with each other again. And as soon as some turmoil hits, who knows how that will blow over. But they have. Now I look at their coaching staff, they probably actually have the best coaching staff. I think Revan knows a lot about the game. And JP, for those of you who don't know who he is a super analyst. Like, he's the guy who provided us all our stats. I think he's going to help them a lot. I think those two will help this team a lot. Staff? Revan and JP are elite.
Revan went the whole, 90% of Blackout.
He knows what he's talking about. Revan knows what he's talking about. I know Revan knows what he's talking about. I know JP was one of the most helpful tools for me just in terms of
JP's
broadcasting
godlike,
and knowing stuff.
true.
JP is godlike. Like, he's going to
But
help them so much.
telling you how often they hit the
Either way.
hill or whatever.
Either way,
not
I
gonna
just
help
think that those are two people that can go to this team and be like, hey, like, this is bullshit. This is what was happening. And that's, like, if this team hits turmoil, I think that's something that's their backbone, right? Like, that'll help them get back on track. Because there will be a point where Temp and Zuma get in a crazy argument. That's it's bound to happen, right? Or where accuracy pisses somebody off, right? Like, it's bound to happen. They have a ton of talent, but that shit is bound to happen with this roster. So I think Revan and JP will have a task to fix there, but I think they're up to it. But that's why I have those two teams in B, because of outside things out of the game. I think these guys can get into a lot of arguments, and that can potentially hold them back where they get into a bad rut. All right, moving on. In my A tier.
Looney's losing full in the chat. This guy said, couldn't win with me?
Yeah, that's mind-blowing that he said that. That's actually mind-blowing. All right, moving on to my A tier. I'm going to put Empire here.
You have them in your 4 spot, too. That's crazy.
Yeah. The reason being is obviously they're winning everything right now. And even if there was a variant tournament tomorrow, I wouldn't pick them to win it. Their players are unproven. Like, they have Illy and Shotzi. Like, those guys have not been playing on LAN versus the top teams. We saw Celium, who he was dominating last year, and he went to his first couple of tournaments. He wasn't very good. Like, he had some moments, but, like, he wasn't going to win a tournament. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's good. It's going to take these guys a little bit, but I think they can figure it out. But the thing is, I don't know. So how can I say that this team is going to be an S tier team without knowing how good these guys are going to be? You just don't know.
To be fair, Illy and Shotzi both have the benefit of playing with.
All right, now let me finish.
Now let me finish. Can get you to win.
No, let me finish. Let me finish talking about this team. So those guys are completely unproven. I have no idea how good they're going to be, and when they debut on LAN, how it's going to go, and how it'll affect them. If these guys go into the first couple matches and get shit on, that might leave a bad taste in their mouth and their teammates' mouths, and you never know how that can affect a player going forward. Some players go to LAN, they get shit on, and it takes them months to get good. Like, Blast went to his first couple LANs and did not play well, and it took him a while to get back on track, and that could be another one of these situations. So we don't know. And also with Crim6 and Clay, like Clay coming off that big champs win, sometimes when you win champs and you go into the next year, it doesn't exactly go your way. Clay had some astounding players. Like Clay, United made some of the best moves I've seen last year with the pickups they had. A BZ and Simp, amazing moves, right? Are these going to be like are Ilian Shotzi really those type of moves? Like, I think a BZ and Simp blessed Clay in that regard. Obviously, Clay was a great player, but like those guys are unbelievable, man. And the meta played perfectly into that team's play style, having the two best Sogs. And I don't think Clay is the player that he once was back in the day where he was dominating. And I think he might need to be on this team, which is going to be tough. Crim, last year was not his year, man. But it seems like this year he's got a lot of passion going into it. I'm sure he'll be a great player. I just haven't seen him dominating on LAN in a while. It's been a while. It's been years since he's like dominated a tournament. He's always super good online, though. Like, I have to say it. Like, he's always super. Like, the last few years, he's always super good.
A warrior?
The last couple years, man. This is something that's been shared by pro players. Like, he dominates online. So it doesn't surprise me that Empire is destroying everybody online, because they have Illy, who's only played online in his whole career. They have Hook, one of the most notorious warriors ever. He's great on LAN, but he's unkillable online. And they have Crim, who shoots nukes out of his AR. Like, for real, dude. Like, Crim has always been better.
They're playing from Dallas. Dallas is universal online. They're destroying people.
And they're destroying people. And that is 1,000,000% playing into how well they're doing online. Like, I think this team is solid. I don't think this team will win. Can they prove me wrong? Possibly. Yet to be known. We need to learn more about Illy and Shotzi. If those guys are superstars, they can win. But if those guys are just your average Joe, they are not winning. They need to be superstars.
Say, though, now that you said that, I gotta say pros are idiots. How the hell are you gonna call Crim an onliner or a warrior? Yeah, he dominates online. The guy has won the most tournaments.
He's won the most tournaments. Yeah, he has.
So calling him an onliner,
I'm just saying
the opposite of an onliner. You can't be an onliner.
What I'm saying is Crim is not taking over games anymore. It's past that time. He's not taking over games anymore. And online, he takes over games. I think that's more so what they mean when they say Crim's dominating us, is like, he's single-handedly beating us, and he doesn't do that anymore, and he hasn't done that for a couple years now. And now, is he a top echelon player? Yes. Top 10%, top 20 player in the world? Yes. But he's not taking over and winning a game by himself on LAN. It just hasn't happened. Hey, he's way better online. All right, moving on. My next team I'm gonna put here is gonna be FaZe.
Cap.
And
Continue.
I think that this team,
This is cap.
the leader of this team, is going to have to be Simp, right? He's gonna have to be the leader.
Disagreed. Continue.
I think this game, like, these guys will all be great. I think Respawn is gonna slow down a little bit. I think it's gonna be a little bit tougher for these guys to use their talent and get out of a lot of situations. I think they will be a smart team and they will be a top 3 team. That's why I have them there. But I do not think they're going to be better than the last 2 teams I have in the bottom here. I just don't think that they'll be able to beat Optic or Seattle COD. There's too many players there that have been consistent, that really take their time to learn the game and get an edge on players with that extra talent. I think that they won't be as much of a team as Seattle or Optic.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead. You can combat that statement.
That was the worst shit I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, explain why.
What is your argument here? That they don't have a leader, that they can't figure out how to slow down and trigger?
The main part of my argument is that I just don't think that this team will beat Optic or Seattle. I think that Optic and Seattle can go toe to toe with them in talent, and I think they have smarter players on their teams.
I don't think that Seattle has near as much talent as this team.
I think they have a lot of talent. I think Seattle has a lot of talent.
As good as I think Seattle is, it's not going to be the talent that puts them close to that team.
I don't know. Seattle's pretty fucking talented, bro. They have Octane, and I don't think there's an AR on FaZe that can go toe to toe with Octane.
Priesta and like Major Maniac or whatever.
They have Apathy, who's a freak. They have Karma, who's disgusting. Like, I guess you fall a little bit.
Simp and Abizi are more talented than all those guys.
Okay, but is that really going to make a huge difference going up against Seattle?
I mean,
so what's your argument? What's your argument is strictly talent?
But you act like Atlanta's just stupid because they're young.
I'm not saying they're stupid. That's why I have them a top 3 team.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, yeah, the talent will matter. If they're both equally as smart as each other, the talent's gonna matter. If they're even near as smart as them, the talent's gonna matter.
All right, sure.
They learn how to play the game. That's why they got to where they are.
Let's say they're more talented
while being young. They're insane. They're also smart. Just because they're young doesn't mean they can figure out. Call of Duty's not that complicated.
Listen, I'm saying this team can very well beat Seattle, right? They could be beating them. We never know, right? It's possible. But personally, I believe Seattle will learn the game faster, and they'll be at Atlanta will be trying to catch up to Seattle throughout the year. I think there's too much consistency here, and I have a lot of faith in this roster. I think it's going to work well. I have a lot of faith in them, and I think Octane will fucking dominate this game. And I think he's going to be a problem that Atlanta might not be able to deal with. But anyways, moving on. That leads me to my S tier. I have Seattle and I have LA Optic. I like both these rosters. I think Seattle, I just talked about them a lot. They just have a ton of consistent players. I think that the potential to hold this team back lies in search and destroy. They have some players here who typically, over the history of Call of Duty, haven't been that great at search and destroy. They're going to have to do a lot of work there. I think that's, if there's something that's going to hold them back from winning a championship, it'll be that mode. You have Apathy, you have Enable, you have Slacked, Octane. These are all players who have struggled in the past in search. If they can figure it out, I think they can win a chip.
Sorry, I have to bring something up. This guy just said something like talking about winning championship and brought up the Rise team from World War II. Like that team wasn't absurdly talented. They're also smart, which you have to be to win, obviously. But what? Pierce is insane.
We'll go to the chat
Flash
in a moment.
Insane.
We'll go to the chat in a moment.
Insane. I can't believe what I'm reading.
Let me give my final reasoning for putting LA Optic in S tier. I think it's just hard to argue, right? You have Slasher, who's dominated the last few Call of Duties. You have Kenny as well, who's been. You have the best sub and best AR from the last few Call of Duties, who at any given point have been winning championships. You have JCap, 2-time champion, who has history with Slasher, who you know is just a gap filler. You have every single part of a team you need. You have TJ, great search and destroy player, amazing aggressive sub, has experience. You have Dashi, a freak of nature talent-wise. Like, this guy, throughout the entire last season, was dominating individually. And in the season he came onto the scene in World War II, like, he was fantastic as well, even on a shit team. So I think this team just has every piece to the puzzle, right? Like, this is just a team that, if you look at it on paper, I think you look at them and go, they should win a championship. I think they have everything. If things go wrong, I think they have a team that can figure it out. I think they all respect each other. And I think this is one of the few teams that got exactly what they wanted. I think they went into Roster Mania looking like, this is the team I want, and it actually happened. So I think LA did a great job building this team, and I think Optic, these guys, they got what they wanted. I know there was a little bit of weirdness going on with the Dashi situation, but at the end of the day, dude, this is a fantastic roster, and I think this team will be going into matches the favorite every single time.
Yeah, I agree. And Atlanta did that as well, as
Yeah.
we just pointed out. They got the exact roster they wanted. So
Mhm.
that's why they were my two top teams easily. Both rosters are just insane. Both rosters have smart players. I mean, we're just gonna have to see what happens when it gets down to it. Once they get
So
through
here
practice.
is our list. Where do we differentiate a little bit?
Well, my list is infinitely better.
All right,
But
chat.
yeah,
Type a chat. Let's go. Put nameless or pack. Who won? Who won right here in this tier maker? Put nameless or pack in the chat. I want to see what you guys think.
we gotta give the guys a chance to put their own list in here
Oh,
so we
I'm
can
going
judge
to.
them.
Here, let me go to. I'm gonna leave this up for a second. I'm gonna give them the
Pack.
link.
Oh shit.
Nameless because you
Interesting.
ranked me higher. Facts. Facts. Here we go. Nameless. Fuck pack. Facts, Zinny. That's what I like to hear.
Then he was getting tucked yesterday in 10. This guy's garbage.
Danny and TJ couldn't handle Crim. How could they cope with Slasher? Because Slasher will be shitting on people. It's the difference. Like, it's hard to deny when somebody's frying. All right, so it seems like there's actually a little bit more Pac-Man. It's a little split now.
Not split. It was clearly more packed.
I don't know, all I see is Nameless right now.
What? Guys said both absolutely tragic. My bad, dude. NRG, best team.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it on terms of us ranking the teams. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This actually went a little bit longer than I thought it was, an hour and 20. We're going to do like 10, 15 minutes where we just answer questions from the chat. I'm going to switch these screens. I'm going to give you guys a link. And I would like you guys... Hold on. I'm going to give you guys a link to this tier maker. I would like you guys to give me your rankings of the teams and tweet me screenshots, and they will be featured in next week's episode. So... let me reset this and let me share this for you guys. I just gouged our list so we have them. Share template on Twitter. Here we go. All right, guys. So I'm gonna let out a link on Twitter at Nameless on Twitter. I'm gonna link it to Pacman as well at PacmanJT, where you guys can go make your own list of teams and send me a picture. Just add it to either one of us, and you will be featured in the next episode. And we'll take some of the lists that we like, and we'll put it on there. We'll like or dislike, and we'll roast. But here. Rank the CDL teams and tweet me a picture to be featured in the Codcast. Alright, guys, go to my Twitter right now. Okay, do you see any questions you want to talk about, John?
If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. Some of them we obviously won't be able to answer, but we'll try our best. Best map in Modern Warfare.
Oh man, Wetworks coming, right? That's the rumor. Let's get it.
Name a roster you can each start on. I can start on Toronto's roster. I guess kidding me? I could get a spot on your team.
On Toronto,
Yeah.
I could take Zinni's spot right now.
There you go. Which team do you think have the most talent? I would go Atlanta and LA Optic have the most raw talent for sure.
You say Atlanta and who?
LA Optic.
Atlanta and LA Optic. Yeah, I'd say so. I gotta put Seattle up there too, man. I think they're talented, dude. People say they're not talented, but I think they are. I mean, dude, it's their least talented player. Like Slack and Able, those guys are nuts. Karma, like he's nuts, man. Like that team is talented, bro. Dude, Ultra has the most talented 10 players.
You think Envoy will be the best player in NRG? No, I think the best player in NRG is going to be Gunless.
Yeah, me too. I think Gunless is different. Dude.
I think that last year that he just was in a tough spot with his teams, and people forgot how disgusting he can be. If they're good, if they're in a position to win, Gunless is going to be MVP.
What team do you think will hate each other first? Honestly, the LA Gorillas.
The LA Gorillas rumored roster.
Them or
I think that
Subliners, really.
I would like you to type in the chat why you think that we're overlooking NRG, even though we both said that they're a good team. Just don't think that they should be
we don't have
number
them
one.
number one. That's why he's probably saying that.
Yeah, I just don't understand that when looking at the rest of the rosters, how you can say that.
Do you think Pat can win a map this entire year? Yes, I do. Which team has the best coaching staff? I think New York. What do you think, John?
I think Atlanta. I think
Crowder?
or Seattle, I
Isn't it?
guess. Nah, Atlanta. They have like 3 coaches or something. They probably have the same analyst situation going on.
What don't you like about Revan and JP?
Oh, I think that Revan and JP are very good. I don't think that they've earned yet the whole like great coaching thing. I don't think they did anything spectacular last year, and by they I mean Revan.
Question:
But he
Can you
also didn't have the
guys
rosters to work with, so he has a better roster this year.
talk about CDL talent?
No.
No. Um,
How can you put Seattle over Chicago? Next question.
Seattle has a bunch of flex players that have been carried to chips by guys like Octane Slasher from. Wow, that's a horrible take.
Why is Paris ass? Because they have a roster of they don't
Their
have a
roster
single
looks
like
like a bench
star
player
player.
that
It
shouldn't
looks
see
like
the
a
light of
bench
day.
roster.
Their roster actually looks like an entire bench.
If they weren't competing against the teams they're competing against, I'm sure they'd be fine. But they're just
Yeah.
competing against superstar-studded teams, and it's tough. You gotta realize even when we put these teams in like the C category, they're still a really good group of Call of Duty players that they're going up
Yeah.
against. It's just tough.
Yep. Do you think teams need a full 10-man squad? Will subs be used as
Hell
specialists
no.
like snipers? No, they definitely don't. A full 10-man squad is just going to
I think a full
be
10-man
stressful.
squad is detrimental. I think Toronto's build is detrimental to the team's success long term for sure.
Chicago will guarantee be better than FaZe. Guaranteed. Wow, you have a lot of confidence there, Andrew. M80000. Why do you think that? FaZe is going to be clueless because of the way this game is. So you know the game better than FaZe, and in that
just
way
came out
to,
and
to
you know
decide
they're
that
clueless.
they are going to be clueless. That would require you to have an insane knowledge of the game to think, okay, I know how these guys think, and the way this game plays, they're going to be clueless, which I don't think you have. So I don't think you can make that statement. That's kind of ignorant.
Mac, do you think more teams will stream scrims this year? I do not. I think that they're in the franchise model now, and I don't think anyone's going to put their scrims public at all. I don't even think they'll be allowed to by their organizations.
What team will play best as a team? What team slays out every event? So basically, you think that question is what's the best team? And I think LA Optic. Who do you think's gonna be rookie of the year? Well, what rookies are there? It has to be like Shotzi or Illy, right?
Who else is a rookie?
Shotzi and
Shotzi, Illy. Are there any other like just people that just got thrown on teams that have a chance?
No.
No. Well, there you go. One of those two. I will see.
Best players not signed. Great question. What do you think?
Best
I think
players not
Pharaoh.
signed as starters.
Pharaoh for sure. No, he's saying just not signed.
We don't. I mean, I don't even know who's not signed as subs, so I can't really answer that. I don't know all the subs. So I mean, the best players that are not signed as starters, I'd say, are probably like, maybe Sheen,
Yep.
John. I mean, there's something funky happening with John.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come out for you guys later. I have no clue,
I
but
don't think
obviously
so.
John would be a starter, so there's that.
He would definitely be a starter. So there's something going on. Pharaoh, Chino.
Yeah. I guess if he's not a starter, I guess Blastful would be on that list.
Yep.
Bello, Goon.
Pristini is signed.
Pristini's definitely going to be signed to a team. I just don't think it's been announced yet as a starter. He just won
Yeah.
2 championships back to back.
Tommy is he on? Tommy's
Oh
on
yeah,
EU Tommy.
Tommy's signed to a sub somewhere. Not exactly sure where. Um,
No, I'm sure we're forgetting somebody either. I can't
yeah,
think that hard.
there's a lot of names. There's just a
Any
lot
other
of names.
questions, you guys? Can you describe what happened between the scenes in Dashy and LA Optic?
Oh.
I only know the rumor, and there was the rumor like Dashy didn't want to play or something. And he had already signed.
I know exactly what happened. I just can't.
Yeah,
tell you.
I do too. I know the rumor. Dashy made a Dashy's.
Oh, Nagafin.
being
That's a good answer.
He was being
I
he was
feel
being
like
a child. Is what was happening.
Haggy best anchor. I disagree. I feel like honestly, Haggy. I feel like he could be used in so many better ways than as a player. He just can't let go of playing himself. I told
Haggy
him
needs
this
to
in the
go work
past.
for a developer.
I think
dude.
he'd go. I think that if he was working at the Infinity Ward studio, he would be a superstar inside the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think he has a lot of smarts. He's been playing forever. As a teammate, I just feel like he has a lot of flaws. But other than that, I think he's really smart and
So
just
do I.
knowledge somewhere else.
He's one of my best friends. I love that guy. I love him forever. I just think it's time for him to move on and go try to pursue something else. I think he'd be a great coach, great analyst, but he would only be a great coach if he went into it like, I'm never going to play. because
Yeah.
he can't be the guy like I need to fill in. Like he would be a great coach if he just completely quit, and if he went to go work for a developer, I think he'd be great. I think they could use him. I think he'd be very useful in figuring out maps, modes, and glitches in the game and things like that. I think it'd be fantastic. What about Killa? I'm not answering any of that.
Who do you think would be the best AR and sub player will be? AR, slasher, sub, Abizi.
Do you think it's smart for formal gunless to run it back as teammates again? Why not? Right?
I think that's a horrible idea.
I don't think it's necessarily smart, but I don't think it's a horrible idea either. As long as they can put it aside what just happened. I mean, Gunless has a very bad rap right now because of the things that he's pulled over the last couple of years. I think Gunless just needs to, chill out a little bit and just relax.
I think Pierce is absolutely filthy. I don't know
disgusting.
whatever happened behind the scenes with LG, but I do know that their friendship was totally torched after that, and to just go back teaming in the very next game. As soon as something negative happens with that team, I just feel like it's so easy for that team to fall apart, right? They just have too much bad history amongst one another. I know that having Arcides and Gunless should help because they're good friends in real life.
Yeah.
And they teamed in the past, but that team also split up. Gunless also left that team in the past. So, who knows?
All right, let's do one more question and then let's wrap it up. And I think, John, we're gonna wager, right?
Yeah, I think so. If we have a group to wager with,
I think we have Reem in there.
let's guess on this question.
While I figure out.
Which team will be the first to make a trade? And go ahead.
First to request a trade? Oh man, Paris.
To make a trade, not request one.
What's up, Exposed? Well, to make a trade, it's usually like one of the teams that is like fringe on the top that has players other people want. Probably Ultra because they have such a big roster. A team will like want Classic or something.
I was thinking Seattle. I was thinking Seattle because they have a lot of really good players, and they have like a lot of like flex type players, and they also have people that can add to a championship roster and someone that you'd actually want. See, so Paris, I wouldn't say them because in order to make a trade, I have to want, right? Like, maybe...
What did that guy say to Classic? Oh, he said, I think Formos and Gunless relationship was strained due to Classic, to be honest. Classic Adams at Evan USA, dumbass. Capping. Is it possible to get picked up mid-season if you aren't signed anywhere? I don't see why that would be an issue. Really? Like if some guy
as long as the team is not filled all their sub slots, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Like a big timer just walked up into the building and went, "Yo, I'm disgusting," picked me up and started frying. Like, why? I don't see how it would be an issue. Pull a Vince Papali, bro.
Yeah, and like so, someone like Pharaoh could easily be a person that someone picks up. Like if I was running an org and whatever happened with Pharaoh in the offseason, I'd pick him up even if it was just as a piece to trade. Mm-hmm. By the nature of competition, some of these teams are gonna suck, and they're gonna need someone else to come in.
Yeah.
Someone like him would be a good player to have as a trade bait or something to build a roster.
I agree. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. We went 30 minutes over the time, John. I knew it, dude. I knew it. We weren't gonna be able to contain it. Next week we'll shoot for the 45 minutes. But thank you guys for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys very much. I was just going to ask for some feedback live since you guys are all here. What did you guys think of the episode? What would you like to see changed going forward? I know this is a different format than usual. It's just us two giving our thoughts. But I think it went a little bit too long. But I think you guys are thoroughly entertained throughout. Give me some of your feedback and your thoughts right now, guys. Good stuff? Okay. Would you like us to do this every week? New host. New viewers.
That guy's been trolling the whole time. Fucking asshat. Yo, Methods, you'll be joining us soon enough. Don't worry about it.
You'll be joining us soon. Thought it was great. Thank you. Top 2 beard in the scene. Who's won? Shit's dope. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And, we're just coming back. We did pretty good. I honestly thought with everybody live we were going to get like 100 viewers. Nice solid 500, man. It's not too bad. You guys are the real ones, dude. Please, every week sounds good. We will have guests from time to time, but it's not going to be every week, my guy. No way. Not doing that again. These mother suckers. I'll be there. Dude, I got to scream. All right, well, thank you guys for the feedback, man. If you guys have any serious feedback, make sure you tweet it to me, and I'll check it out if there's anything you'd like to see change. And if there's a huge thing, a trend, we'll think about it. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, make sure you tweet us that. I'll check the hashtag Codcast after every episode. And like I said